Hello, and welcome to another episode of 33 Conversations. And today we're kind of letting go of the structure that I normally have and going to play this game a little bit differently because during the last, I don't even remember when we met, it's been several months ago, but I met somebody that's so sweet. We connected on a soul level. And I want to introduce you because we're going to have a different conversation. We're going to interview each other today because we realize that our souls were connected and that we're on a similar mission. And it was to be authentic, which is my main point of these conversations is they're real and they're authentic. We had to have a different context for today. So really like to welcome to the show, Coach Umreen. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael. It's an honor.
It is an honor. It was just instant. Like I felt a connection to you. I felt your mission. Your energy preceded you, and we just could see each other at a deeper level, which doesn't normally occur in life. And when it did, in the context of the show, I just realized that hey, this has to be different to be authentic. It just wasn't authentic to have a regular type of a conversation. So we're going to interview each other today and we're going to get to know each other a little bit deeper and share the things that bridges our missions together and what we're committed to in the world and just let go and let the universe come through us today. Our intention is always to have people gain wisdom from where we're at and what we're experiencing. But yeah, I'm just really ready to just like unplug and just have a beautiful conversation about everything. So,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah,
think let's go with the flow.
yes,
Let the
yes.
heart
So
take the.
yeah, we're gonna first start out with like sharing our each other's stories and getting to know. But I'm gonna let you start. So tell me a little bit about. Well, I'm gonna let you start with me. Let's do that.
Okay, start. Okay, so I literally reached out to Michael because there was something about what he was doing. I was like, I'm curious. Let me see what's there. I think when we let go of the cookie cutter way of reaching out
Mm,
to people or connecting, there's a sense of like surrendering that happens. You let the heart and the gut decide what it is.
yeah.
And since I've gotten to know you, I would say that I found you to be somebody who wants to uplift the collective, who wants to serve his own divine light, you know, by seeing the goodness in people, by either speaking, leveling themselves up, or even impacting through a simple conversation. Your ability and the wisdom to channel energy in a way that leaves people reminded of their own greatness was something that I appreciated so much. And it didn't feel like a forced conversation. Like, I don't think there was ever a moment where we were trying to fill up space or gap. There was a
and
time
you,
I remember, yeah, one
when we were
moment
just
where
quiet, yeah, where we're just quiet, I was like, oh, I'm really comfortable being quiet with you. It was also too like the timing, like because we've had a couple of calls that just for whatever reason the timing didn't work. Yeah, for whatever reason, and like we just allowed it to be whenever you found a spot that worked for you because we were bumped up against the holidays and all of that stuff that was happening then. And yeah, and here we are at the almost the end of January of 2026, and I saw you pop up, and I was like, yes. In the middle of my podcast day, I get to just go like this. But I'm at a point now where like I'm starting to really feel okay in the middle of all of them. And just really how profoundly awesome it is to get to know people and these facets to their lives, how they got started, and that there's always this thread between all of the stories that are being shared, where they're coming from. And then for you and me, that was a thread between us that was different than I'd ever experienced with any other pre-guest or somebody that was thinking about being on the podcast because of your light that I could see and what you were putting into the world. So again, like thank you, and the timing's perfect, and yeah.
yeah, it is an ambitious date today. It is an ambitious start to the year. And I think what is really becoming more and more clear is the right people show up, you know, when you let God and you be in charge, right? When you let the ego kind of go, which is, I think, what a lot of us are told in our lives, right? To be everything everybody wants us to be. There's this lovely quote that I always repeat back to my kids too. I say, I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. So in reality, I am becoming a different version of me depending on the expectations of somebody else versus, what you're talking about as well here, which I think is so important, is like just genuinely embracing all of your flaws, accepting all of your wins, and marching forth with a bigger mission and a bigger impact.
Yeah. And I don't have any expectations for us today. So that window's out, but I could see it in other places that of my life because I've this community aspect of my um energy. I'll just say building community. It's something that I was doing, but it transformed since we even spoke of because it became present for my own community and where I live. I'm online and I'm building community with other mission driven people, folks that are building things inside the world today. And I love those conversations. They're fascinating as hell. But there's also this like, Michael, you're really building these things here, but your community needs you too. Like I could see it. And um, me putting myself into that process, I had to, I'm used to me and my energy and who I surround myself with. That's all good. It's another thing when you step your ass out in front of a
Mm,
community because, energy wise, it, it
right.
changes. And I was struggling to modulate that and still empower myself and not lose myself in that, or just being with everything that was coming up at the same time. I'm still doing the daily stuff in my life, but this past couple of 3 days, literally, especially this morning, I woke up and I was like, I don't know if I can do this today. I don't know if I can do this today. And I thought about calling all of my guests. And I was like, man, I don't have the mentals to be doing this today. And I called my mom, God love her. And she's like, just allow this to come through. And just so happened that my very first guest was a gentleman that wrote a book called Frequency, Success Frequency. And his story and what he was sharing, it's kind of like I allowed myself to feel that. He, he it, you know, it was a really amazing podcast, but the just out of it was these core things that I've always done that I have to do them in a different level now and a different level of commitment. And I wasn't waking up and envisioning where I wanted to be and feeling that I was already there. I left some pieces out and I let my energy join the collective. The collective is in total freaking chaos. And I'm not used to that. And I don't regret allowing myself to do it. I don't. I'm just coming into balance with the expanded version of what that did to my energy.
Yeah. I think our energy is one of the most sacred gifts that we get to have, you know? And I literally can pump up energy at any moment. Like I can go from like, oh, I'm so calm to like really hyped up really fast. What I started to realize is that sometimes if we don't protect our energy, if we don't put the guardrails up, other people get in and their traumas, their difficulties, their challenges, somehow they leave it behind and you think you won, you were like, "Man, I crushed it today." And then you're like, "I'm so tired." Like an hour later, you're like, "I'm exhausted." And then you think, "Was it because I was hyping myself up and thinking like the ego was leading? Is this the ego?" And I was like, "Nah, there was no ego. I went in with full integrity and intention." And it's that. So I've really built a practice, and I encourage all my children to do the same. Before you step foot outside that door, you literally juju your prayers onto you and to your loved ones. And I've seen it prevent accidents from happening, prevent simple conversations from getting amplified and blowing up. And I've seen that when I come back, it's no longer draining anymore. So yeah, you're right, and it's kind of our spiritual practice too to do that.
Yeah. I gotten so good at it that it didn't like it was just all working. When something's working, it actually will disappear and it disappeared from view for me. So it's all working like, I got my own ecosystem. It's fun. It's like everything's but the second that I stepped out into like putting it out that I'm going to do X and I created it was magical though. Can I just say it was so magical? I created the three I don't know if I shared that with you before, but I created this event here in St. Louis called the 314 experiment
You did,
where
yeah.
I invited yes, okay. I thought it was gonna be huge, and it ended up being 50 people,
Woohoo!
which is actually a miracle in itself. In my ego mind, I was like, "It's 250, I could do that. Sure, sure I can." But the reality is 50, and if it was any more, it wouldn't have worked. And when I was I'll share this too. So when I first started speaking, I knew what my little TED Talk thingy was at the beginning, setting the context is basically what I was doing. But nothing was right. The little screen was behind me. Like when I started talking, it was like I could hear an echo from
Mm,
the speaker. I couldn't hear what I was thinking. And like that, there's nothing that drives me crazy than like having that. I can't even concentrate. You don't even know what you're thinking. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't stop in the middle of this. I'll never I just got to keep going. So I did, but I knew I was like just jacking it up. Like, it was so clunky and it was just so weird. And they're all just sitting there staring at me. Nobody's like making a word, right? I get through the little 10, 15-minute thing and they meet somebody and I go over to my runner and she's like, Michael, I go, oh my God, I could not hear myself. I don't know what the hell I was saying. She goes, what are you talking about? You're a genius. Like, there was what it was something came through me there. And then when I got back, then it was like dead on because I didn't have to run back to that field where the speakers were at. And I was with the people and it was like totally, it was moving to see a group of people that didn't know each other start having a conversation because it was like deeper, meaning questions and facilitating that level of conversation. But like seeing them talk with each other,
mm,
it just brought me to tears, like happy tears. And but I had planned that there were going to be three people, and I kept going. Yes, it's 10 minutes, and everybody needs to like so let's find a new partner and let's meet somebody new. And they would just look at me like, and they would just start back and start talking. I was like, okay, at least one person. You have to meet one other person. So they did do that, but like they got so connected that they didn't want to disengage from it, and it opened the door to we landed. I started a weekly thing, and now a weekly call on Sunday to help people clear whatever they need to clear, and I just open it up. But it actually turned in Sunday night. I had 5 people that showed up the first week, and I was like, "This is awesome." But each one, I started to, uh, you know, because I got my little thing. I do the energy. I could see it. I just let that out. And it was each one had just a magical experience of letting the energy come out of their body. And I was like, oh, this is what this is. I could see it. And it was allowing me to use a part of me that I don't really get to share that often in life. So it was like, it was all connected and it's going to grow. And then my connecting with people every day for the podcast, I'm meeting people that have these community things that are nonprofit that I can start here. Just beautiful people are thinking of these beautiful ways to connect that I'm going to be able to bring. And it just allowed me to see this bigger picture building from this thing that I thought was this
mm.
is now this. which resets everything that I thought I was doing.
And it kind of brings us back to that whole full circle where we started the conversation to be like, when we have a plan, there is a divine plan that supersedes it and has magic that you will literally pick up along the way. And you're like, wait, how did, and this year I've already started to feel that energy, that momentum, the, the fact that as a collective, people are looking for something different. You know, in a world now where they're saying that we as human beings are more connected than ever before, yet lack connection because we've forgotten what it is to be human. Everyone's so busy doing human, you know? And you and I know that when you're in a state like when the people are showing up at your group session, five of them, when you can let go of an energy space that you don't even know isn't serving you and someone can actually be the medium to take you to a never elevated level, from that point on, you're impacting everyone with such an elevated level of being, you know? And that's what it's all about. So, folks like you and I, and even other people who are really looking at life with like a bigger picture and only marching towards what they think their goals are going to start to see more doors opening, more opportunities coming. The only commitment that they need is like, you got to keep going. You know, you like the same way your mom said to you, and usually you walk over to her house. I know that. Like usually you're like, okay, I gotta get my walk in. I'm gonna go see mom too. So it was
Except for it's cold. It's cold. We can't do that right now. But like, yeah, it's like that's my 5 mile. It's like two birds with one stone thing. I love
yeah.
walking and um yeah, like it's exactly what you're saying. It's like the allowing life to transform you at the same time. But the part that I was missing was that rituals that I held dear. Um, I they leveled up, and I got to level up with them and redraw the line in the sand, and like that sacredness, taking care of that with me first. I'm never going to be able to provide that. It just leveled up, and it took me a minute to get my bearings, but by not giving up today,
Hmm.
um, did it because these today's been magic ever since.
See, that's all you gotta do is right. You know, I think, and it's almost like the way I look at it is these challenges, these tests that come are for our own self convictions to be like, how badly do you really want this? Are you just fluff? You're gonna leave it 50% done? Are you just gonna turn around when you're at 42%? Are you gonna say you're not gonna go 100%? It's like these challenges come to tell you, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but I'm gonna say it's worth it. And the worth is like those bumps that we're like, okay, overcome this one, overcome that, you know? Like sometimes like for me as well, when I think of something very simple, which is you know, a thought that keeps coming is honor your solitude. And I think for me, you know, being a single parent of three children, it isn't always easy to honor your solitude or to put yourself first, you know? And while I was praying today and meditating today, the thought that came up was like, girl, you have got to take a full day off. A full day off. You have to reset. And I don't want you anywhere near home. I don't want you anywhere. Like the second the kids leave the door, because you're like, okay, freedom for 8 hours, right? And I want you to level into that. And it doesn't matter what you do, but you have to go and connect with yourself. And when we do that,
That hit me different when you said that. That's my whole mission is the connection. And I have this that's the sacredness of the space that's been missing because what I was doing before was me. That's why it worked. And this whole expansion, the community standing in that energy, I have to connect to me at that community level, not at an individual level, at a collective level. Wow. Okay. Okay. That is answers a lot of. I just see the doors like going, choo, 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 choo.
there you go.
That is hysterical. Yeah, that's it. Or that I need to see that right now. have to connect to me at the next level, at the, the expanded level. This isn't just me sitting in my space anymore, creating what I wanted, like how this all started has shifted, and I'm reorientating myself into that space. And the universe would not let me go forward until I saw this. That's why I was felt so stuck in, like, that's the part that I don't like. Um, wow. You don't know how hard that hit. That was really crazy.
Like I said, magic shows up, right? Like, I mean, when I literally received that message, it was when you're connecting to you and brain, when you're connecting to your inner being, you're connecting to the divine. It's not an ego thing. And the more that I connect to the divine, the more light that I receive to serve the collective.
I was missing. How does that show up for you, like in what you're doing and the new ideas that you're having? How does that show up for you?
And so one of the things that I was talking to my own coach about, and I oftentimes people like joke around saying, coaches need coaches. I'm like, honestly, like it
We all
is,
need mirrors.
yeah, and I
Thank you for
keep
being my mirror today. Hello. Thank you. Yeah, that's what's
I
happening.
listen.
This would be happening unless you were mirroring me. Like that was the whole intention of having this podcast be different was this right here. So I'm so grateful that that opens.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing anything. I feel like you're open and receptive to it. You know, you needed to hear a message. I just became the means. It's not me. And like none of this is me, you know? And when I think about my own life and where I'm at right now, I really have had this understanding more and more so. I've got a community of brilliant, amazing, uplifting women. And every month I do a meetup. And in this meetup, I literally have all of them come to my house. However many can come, they come to my house. And we first connect over food. Oftentimes I cook and I keep it very simple because I love to cook for people. It's one of my ways of self-love. I don't know what it is, but I'm really intentional about the energy I put into it and just the care around it. And so one of the ladies asked me yesterday, she was like, "Hey, I'm Brain. What's going on? What's the next one?" I wasn't thinking this month I'm gonna do it. There's a lot that's happening. And I talked to my coach yesterday and I said, God, I have to have it. I have to have that meetup. And he goes, oh, okay. I'm like, the normal date has passed, but we're gonna have it. And then lo and behold, boom, she asked me like an hour later. I'm like, you're talking to guy, talking to like my coach, what are you doing, girl? And it was so beautiful to see that they're waiting for it. So my intention is really, instead of making it a once a month thing, to really open it up and provide my services to these women who trust me, who see me. They call me the crazy one. Like, oh, sure, huh? She's crazy. She's crazy. Someone's like, why are you so crazy? And I have literally thought, you know, as you were speaking, I was like, we're going to have an extraordinary conversation. And to many, that's crazy. And that's okay. So, really pouring back into that community to let them know that you don't have to have the magic of Umberji show up, you know, once a month. You can literally sign up and have it become a part of your weekly dose. And I'll serve it up. And the second thing that came up is, a lot of women in our culture, they don't have a sense of self. They are their roles. First, they are the daughter, then the wife, then the daughter-in-law, then the mother, then, everything but themselves. And a lot of the women that I really want to support are women who are in their 50s and 60s now. And our community, they don't have conversations about the changes of their bodies, the effects of hormones, the necessity to change their diet, the need to move their body, you know? And even the small shifts of not taking so much guilt and regret because they think they didn't do a good job of raising their kids, right? And so I actually am gonna host a meetup for them next month. And this is just women in their 50s and 60s who are literally in my extended family, right? And I think easily I'll be able to get about 25 to 30 women to show up, you know, and I would love to do something like that for them to show them that there is a space where they can just come, hang out. And in all these conversations, we don't end with food. We literally, I call it a gratitude circle. We go around and kind of share a little bit about ourselves, some of the challenges that we're going through, what we're grateful for, and it allows you to see yourself and other people.
Which is the key
Yeah.
to community. That's what it is like. And then, yeah, beautiful. There's nothing else, is there?
It's a good moment to take a pause.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you for sharing your light and showing up and showing out. And yeah, in this moment, there's really nothing else except for that connection and our connection and my awareness about how sacred that is and putting that sacredness into a ritual that supports me as I move forward and continuing that expansion and connections with other people. Yeah. Because I could feel it like I want the connections, but I've been looking outside for them to click to me. And uh, it's just, I'm having the awareness that no, it's just click to me and that just takes care of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you talked about that habit that you haven't been too consistent with, the moment to visualize, to imagine, to create, and to let the divine light shine, right? Going within
Yeah.
is so much more powerful than seeking out, like
Yeah.
outside.
I've been having so many more visions and dreams at night that are like I'll just wake up and I go right to there's no I don't stop and do the awaken process. It's like dream, like that's
Connect.
the energy. It's like I can have the dream and still ritual and still have those spaces in the morning and at night. Um, um, both.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so many things have shifted. Like I notice my body has, like I can't barely do caffeine anymore. Like, um,
It's a good problem.
food. I know I love coffee, but it's like herbal teas, and I've just been adjusting, making adjustments.
Mm.
Um, Food wise, I pretty much had. Thank God I've had that handled a long time ago, but I've just noticed other things that require another level of detail, another level of attention, um, that I'll keep noticing, but they were all outside. I'm just aware now to notice what I is now noticing those spaces.
You have arrived.
That, yes. Thank you so much. Like, I just really appreciate you and this conversation today. Yeah. Is there anything there for you
I think
left?
for me, it's like when I meet people who aren't here for themselves anymore, right? Who aren't doing it for themselves, who recognize and realize that there was a gift to be discovered and you've done the hard work of discovering it. And now you're just going to serve it up and be like, boom, boom, boom. Like, like everybody take it because the more that you are able to give, the more you're able to receive.
Yeah.
And I think people who are givers don't know how to take. However, I would really encourage anyone that's listening to this podcast to say that learn the art of receiving. Give generously, receive graciously.
Mic drop. Thank you again for being here today on the podcast and having this meaningful conversation with me today, deeply meaningful conversation. And I hope you guys listening, um, you got meaning in your own worlds from listening in. I don't know how you couldn't. I know this is a little bit different conversations that we normally have on the podcast, but again, it's a conversation and there's so many of them. That's why I call it 33. It's to support. If we can't support ourselves, then what the hell are we doing here too? Like it's a part of it and it's something to be so present to and aware of in a moment that we're all evolving in the whole world. I think it's crucial to, it's so easy to step outside of yourself to do the right thing or whatever it is people are experiencing right now. But it's the true thing is to connect with whatever that is within sight of us first, and then all the rest is in alignment, and we stay in alignment. And if we do get out, we just put ourselves right back in before we go to bed, and all of that. But yes, many blessings. Have incredible conversations, and we're going to see you on the next one. Bye,
Yeah,
guys.
take good care of yourself. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it.
Yes, much love. Bye, everyone.